How are you all? Hope you're all okay. It's Sunday, the 4th of September already. Crikey, we'll be thinking about winter soon, won't we? God, and Bennett. It's cloudy here, and I thought I would do a update, just a basic update. The fish are looking good. The water is looking fabulous, I've got to say. I really have. It's got a lovely dark black. It almost looks black. It's obviously not. It looks like ink. The water is clear, but I can't see my bottom drain. So obviously the sides of the pond have got a nice sort of dark coating to them, as opposed to a really light greeny coating. I know it's shady today, so the light is obviously distorting it a bit, but you can see the clear on the pond anyway. But if you look here, the water is really, really good. So I've run out of Aquasource high growth now. So this here, I've got on my last video, if you look at my last video, and it was of the Newark showground, the Great British Koi Show. I purchased Saki Hikari Balance 15 kilogram, 150 pound, 10 pound a kilo, and here it is. It's floating. I would have preferred a mixture of sinking and floating, but anyway, I mean, to me, it's got like a chocolatey smell to me. I don't know whether it's my nostrils. I said this in the video last week, but the fish, I've put them straight on this. I'm going to hopefully get a month out of it, get the month of September out of it with the use of it in this pond, and see how they go. My skimmer's on at the minute here, so I've got to be a bit careful, but the fish are absolutely straight on it, no hesitation. And so what I'm going to do is show you something, because so there's the pond from afar, if you want to call it that, a metre or so away. But yeah, they're looking great, I've got to say. Pond water's looking great. I put a little bit of Virkon in yesterday. So in the previous video I'm using Virkon. The RO water line is on currently, so it's on the hour on period, so that's doing well. I put a little bit of a handful of bicarbonate of soda in yesterday, just to keep it bumped up. There's the new Acer potted up that I got from the show last week, and this one is called Acer Palmatum Dissectum, and this is Tamu Kayama. So I bought that because it's got a Japanese name variety to it. So I'll have a look at that. I've not looked it up yet, I just reminded myself of that one. So that's looking decent. I wanted a dissectum. The dissectum is the leaves, very fine. And I like this one because it's got a bit of overhanging, looks like an overhanging canopy. So that's in there. So yeah, that's looking great. The plant filter's doing great. This horsetail, I think it's called horsetail, is in flower. The lilies have gone absolutely crackers this year. This marginal thalia has gone crackers this year. Look at the flowers up there. And I've took a piece off here in the hope that it'll grow another plant, but it keeps falling over, it's that big. Tons of apples this year. So what I'm going to show you, we'll have a walk down the garden. I've not cut the grass for a good month or two, and it really is needed now because it's getting overgrown. But you know, if it's not really kicking into much growth, I'm going to push it as much as I can. I've got my little gap there. I just thought it looks nice, and then I can sort of come through here if I want to, and step down onto that step there, and get that way to the bees if I want to. I'll come through here, the beehive there now, having a small colony split. So it's like hay now, this is, all the wildflowers and whatnot. So what I want to show you, oops, excuse me, I'm just bending down to put my water down, is I want to show you the water in my grow on. I've not been in here this morning, so hopefully there's no dramas. So what I've done now, if you look at my previous videos, so the Saki Hikari is now, I bought this container, so I want to show you. So like I said in my previous video that when you buy Saki Hikari, it's the 15 kilogram, fantastic. It's in a 15 kilogram sack. So obviously you open it, it's great, got a plastic bag inside the like paper sack, which is brilliant, but you don't want to keep, I don't want to keep rolling it over because of the freshness, so I wanted to buy a tub. And I have bought a food container off eBay. It's a dog food container, large pet food container, and it's a 15 kilogram one. And this holds just right. It's got a seal here, but then under here it's not got a rubber seal here, but there is like a lip that it goes on and clicks into there, like a flexible soft sort of lip. I'm going to put that back around that way. It didn't seem to, oh there we go. So yeah, I'm twisting that around. So when you've got 15 kilo of food in there, and then there's like there's a good bit where you can lift here with both hands. So, and then you get that. And I think it was only about $13.49 or something like that delivered. So that fits. I half filled, no I didn't. I'll talk about the hopper in a minute, because the hopper my food hopper was over there, wasn't it? So I'll show you what I've done in a sec. Put a good couple of kilos in there, a few kilos in the tub at my main pond, which then relieved a bit of the pressure off the top of the sack, so it was easy to work. And then the rest is in there. So I can give them an extra feed if I want. So I'll give them an extra feed, see if they come for it. So while we've got that there, what I will talk about is what I did. So that was up there. I'm never really happy about that being up there. Just out of the way, couldn't get to it, couldn't get to the controller, having to mess with it and get it down every time I want to fill the hopper up, things like that. It wasn't much of an hardship, but I thought, right, now I've got Saki Hikari, I don't want to be wasting the food, because what I found when it was up there, anyone that's got a pond and it's got or something like this, you'll find that if the water, when the feed, the splash sometimes, and the feed sometimes gets on the side, and I was finding that with my other food sometimes I find it on the edge, and I didn't want that because it's not a cheap crap food, so I didn't want to waste a pellet, right? I don't want to waste a bloody pellet. So what I've done, I've got a foam feeding ring. These are them swimming ones, but I've got another plastic one somewhere, but a feeding ring. And then on top of this frame I got this piece of plastic that was in my greenhouse, 4mm, that I had, I don't know, over there somewhere, but anyway I've used it on here. Cut an angle of it because I didn't want it sticking out of the back. And what I've done, see these metal hoops, I've got a blow lamp and I've melted a hole through and then screwed that into the frame. And there's one there, and one there. And cleverly, the back one, it just fits on one of these like supports, so this can't really move that much. So there's one there, and then one in that corner. And fortunately for me, this feeding ring, it just kind of, when that weight is on there, it gives this a bit of support, so I don't want it can't fall forward, and it won't do anyway, I don't think. But also the bit of weight keeps this more in place. But I have found that with the fish it does move a little bit. So what I did, I've actually got this tie wrap holding on the netting anyway. So what I've done is just forced, it's coming out a bit now, look, but forced that into, pushed it into the foam, so it's sticking in like that. And there we go. So I'm really happy with that now, because I can just come by here, make sure I don't knock it, but see me feeding, you know, the what's his name's, the side of the front. And then what I've done, just these sealing bags that you can get, it's quite a large one. I got it from, well, I just, when I bought something, what I've done, I've just slipped it over, because this hasn't got no proper seal or rubber on it, and the tops have broke, the clips on the side have broke, and I've got sprayers up here, misters in my greenhouse, 1, 2 here, and then 2 over there. And sometimes I get the hose pipe out and splash water around this plant and things like that. I thought, well, I've got to be careful, so I've just slid that over there, and then what it's done, it's acted as a bit of a, it just, you know, it's like almost like a seal. And I know now that I can't damage it either way if the fish splash or anything like that. It just gives it a bit of protection. I know it's a bit gash, but it works. So I have noticed still a bit of a tanning in the pond, but it does seem a bit clearer to me. And also, I mean, I cleaned it out last week. The water's quite clear. There's a few fines in there. But so far, I'm happy. Cleaned the filter out yesterday. What I've been doing is I'm going to spray it again with hydrogen peroxide, because I'd let it, you know, go a bit. There we go. Keep them gnats down. So yeah, I think this goes off at 2 in half an hour, but I'll give them a bit of a Saki. This is on like a mechanical cheap timer, a fish mate. Let's see if these are into a bit, see if they'll take it. Now this kohaku here, this is the one that had a sore side. It's only been in here for about a month, and I'm pretty sure the sides are doing well. I had it out, sedated it and cleaned the wound, and it's looking quite clean. What I do know is in this grow on hospital tank now, the other 2 fish really, the Matsuba that's swimming around there, the orange Matsuba, and then the Tancho next to it, could potentially be taken out of here now and put in the main pond. The percentage of salt in here is negligible now in there, but I was going to buy another sack of salt, 10 kg, and I found some in my greenhouse at the top under the bench. I thought I had some, I couldn't find it, but I put it out the way underneath the bench. So yeah, I'm over the moon about that. Will it double up as a seat? Maybe a bit not strong enough, I won't say. You could maybe put something on top of there. Something like a piece of this foam, and double it up as a bit of a seat. But no, I'm happy with that. So on eBay, if you put in there onto eBay 15 kilogram pet food container, you'll find one of these. Love the lid, nice, click in, so hopefully that will keep that as fresh as possible. I put a little bit of bicarb in here yesterday and bicarb in there, so they're happy. What I do as well, I've got in here, I've still got Junior Premium. Now this is something like 63% protein, and yes, I have been giving them these. I give them a shot every other day when I remember. And what I do, I get a couple of scoops of this high protein small food. This is sinking. This is a mixture of sinking and floating. I get a scoop like that, and then what I do, and this is purely to get some vitamins, that in there. And what I do, I soak them in this Koi Vitas. And that's liquid vitamins. So I get 2 scoops of this high protein, soak it in there, and I give these a few little scoops. Well, I give them like I actually use this little stick, get a few pellets and just keep throwing them in, and then the remainder I just put in here and I drop it all in. And what that is, yes, the nutrients and that will probably wash out of this food, but if you soak them in for about 10-15 minutes, hopefully they're getting the nutrient or the vitamin rich liquid. That's my method of my madness anyway, instead of just pouring the vitamins into the liquid, into the water. I probably could use something else. I will do when I run out of this. I might just soak them into the Saki Hikari and turn that into sinking. So I might put a little bit of that in my pump, you know, a carp pump sinking pellet thing. Take the air out, make it sinking food, and then soak it in that. Or I could just soak them in it, you know, so like some Saki Hikari balance instead. Let's see what these are doing. Now what I have noticed is I did get a bit of floaters with the other food, a bit like this here. I don't seem to be getting as much with this food, but still early days. It's only been a week since the show, a week only, but the water clarity seems better. I don't know if it's because we're getting less sun or what, but anyway, I've noticed a difference, and we'll see how it goes. There you go, just a little update. Hope you're all okay. Look after yourselves, look after your families and your loved ones, and enjoy them simple moments, whether it's just chucking in a bit of feed, looking at plants, looking at nature, looking at your koi. It just keeps everything in balance. You know, these are eating that food now. Yeah, the side on that one is definitely a lot better. Happy days. See you on the next one.